Oh, look at that. I missed. I do like the Explorer cards because they actually have animations that come out. Remember when Wizards used to do that? Ladies and gentlemen, civilians across the multiverse, welcome back to another episode with Man Man, and today we've got a juicer for you. We've got Landfall Elementals, baby. That is right. So let's go ahead and start off with the fact that we got the Omnath Locus of Creation and the Omnath Locus of the Roil. Now, this one is a lot better late game. It is a 4-drop, but technically it comes in and you want to have as many elementals on the battlefield as possible because when it deals damage, it's equal to the number of elementals you control. And the landfall stuff is when you have 8 or more lands you can draw. So typically this Locus of Creation is a lot better earlier in the game, and then you get a lot more landfall action. You have gain 4 life, deal 4 damage, and gain 4 mana sources of each color. So that is really, really nice. And let's go ahead and just address the Multani Yavamaya's avatar. This card is pretty much like the late game end condition. Like, if they don't have a way to exile this thing just keeps coming back and back and back. Obviously, we kind of already seen like the Risen Reef. If you're new to Explorer, I am a little bit too. I did play with these cards back when it was, you know, obviously you can tell by I have the Lotus Cobra. I have like some of the alternative art. So I did play back in the day. I don't want to act like I'm a total newbie, but I wasn't nearly in the grind nearly as much. So the Lotus Cobra is here, and again, with the Risen Reef, you have all this land, and with you Multani, if they just like have like destruction, like Supreme Verdict, or like whatever is running amok in these, you know, Explorer. I'm used to like standard stuff. You, for 2, return 2 lands you control to those owners' hands, and then you can put this from the graveyard into your hand and play it again, which is really nice too, because if you return the 2 lands from your hand, you can just use this for landfall. So you bump this back up, use it for landfall. Obviously, this is 4 colors, so I got Felidar Retreat, just to kind of swarm up the board. I did end up cutting a Swarm Scoot, the little beetle that makes a bunch of triggers, just because, you know, it is what it is. I didn't have to make a cut. I thought about running 1, but it is what it is. Let's go into Cyclonic Rift. Okay, there's a lot of matchups where you pretty much just need, and again, you're going to have enough land. So the Overload is actually not even that bad. And this is my first ever time playing with Cyclonic Rift. I knew what this card was. I did play, I think this was Return to Ravnica's when it first came out, and I was a very, very casual player, but now I'm man to man. I'm making not so casual content, I guess. So Cyclonic Rift, Overload for 7, very, very easy to get into. Escape the Wilds is pretty good. I see a lot of decks run like 2 or 3 of these. From what I've seen back in the day. I do remember this thing. You do play an additional land this turn, which goes along with our landfall very well. Terror of the Peaks is pretty good, especially with like Felidar Retreat, and just dropping like a big Multani with Terror of the Peaks. You get to just do its damage to any single target. Very, very good. Voice of Resurgence. This card is really good against control. If they play anything on your turn, you just get a literal token that says this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. If this wasn't standard, it would be wild. Like, this is the craziest card I've ever seen. Absolutely nuts. We're running 4 of them. I'm running 4 Fateful Absences as well. A little bit odd. I guess odd because, like, you definitely need it for Grease Fangs. There's the Proctor things. A lot of things in Explorer. Explorer is a lot faster than standard, so you need your removal and your interaction quickly. So that is why I'm running Cyclonic Rift in 3, Fateful Absence, and last but not least, the Leyline Binding, just because we're running off all these triomes, these breeding pools. The Temple Garden breeding pool and Stomping Ground all count as forests, mountains, plains, etc., etc. So the Leyline Binding is going to cost 2. It doesn't cost 1, but that doesn't matter. It's going to cost 2 because we're not running swamps, but the Leyline Binding is very, very good. Here is the deck here. We got the Omnath. Oh, one last thing, Dire-Strain Rampage. You destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. If you don't have an artifact or enchantment on your opponent's side of the board that you use it on your own land, and then you get to put 2 lands onto the battlefield, which further activates your landfall. So that's the deck here. Let's go ahead and leave me a like. The button looks just like this. Helps out the channel tremendously. Go ahead and subscribe if you have not already. And without further ado, let's get ready to vanquish some enemies. Brouhaha! How are we doing here? All right, we're going to go ahead and keep this looking pretty good here. As long as we got the Lotus Cobra, as long as you have Lotus Cobra, you can never really be too out of reach here. The Leyline Binding, I'm liking the Leyline Binding. We can never get it down to 1 because we don't have any swamps or anything like that, but I think it's fine. All right, let's go ahead and drop our Lotus Cobra. Pretty simple here. Then we go in for our Fabled Passage. Sometimes the Fabled Passage is a little bit awkward on turn 3, but it's usually fine. We usually find a way. Alright, so this should go straight up wide here with the Llanowar Elves. So usually a lot of times these decks get like so wide that it is kind of important to have a, like some sort of board wipe. The closest thing to a board wipe I have is Cyclonic Rift, but I I kind of bought like all the anthologies, so I'm liking how like Cyclonic Rift and like all that kind of stuff, Supreme Verdict. These kind of board wipes are kind of new to me. If you are new to the channel, this is kind of, I don't want to say my first time playing Explorer. I have tinkered with it, but I'm getting a little bit more serious into it now. But all right, so the Risen Reef is going to give us a little bit of advantage. Glory Bringer. I know this has over exert, or what is it called? Yeah, so they're just gonna kill my Risen Reef and then they don't untap next turn. I don't know. I mean, I think this card's a little bit underwhelming. I actually tried playing with it, but got the Glory Bringer. Not too threatened here. Still up to 16 life, and I think we're gonna probably win the long run. So let's go ahead and drop our Nissa Resurgent Animist. Looking good here. And now we got our Fabled Passage, and now we get 2 instances of Landfall. Not Lifefall. What the heck? All right, so Landfall. Now we got a decision to make. We still have the Fabled Passage is so freaking good in this deck, man. Good lord. So I'm just trying to think, do we go for the Risen Reef and then go for like, I don't think we really need the Leyline Binding because this thing's not, the Glorybringer's not even going to untap. So if we go for Dire-Strain Rampage, this is where it gets really crazy. I don't see a whole lot of landfall decks playing Dire-Strain Rampage. So let's go ahead and hit him for green. And white doesn't particularly matter. Again, we get 2 instances of landfall, and Nissa's going to grab us a random elemental. Boom, there's a Voice of Resurgence, so just extra value. Gotta love that. All right, go green, blue, white, red, and we still have not even used the Fabled Passage yet. Pretty wild. So, all right, I think we're gonna drop the Risen Reef. Let's see if we can snag another land off the top, and we do get a Fabled Passage. Now the Fabled Passage obviously gonna come in tapped, but we still do get the landfall triggers from it. And I'm gonna drop the Voice of Resurgence over the Leyline Binding. Another Voice of Resurgence, and now I think we're just gonna crack open the Fabled Passage. Why not? This is wild. Having the Nissa and the Lotus Cobra just allows for some absolutely wild stuff. Okay, dokie. I think we'll go blue and what should we go? Let's see. I guess we'll go green. Yeah, I want to play the Elemental again. I don't think we really need to play this Leyline Binding. I just don't think we really need to. So let's just drop the Voice of Resurgence, get another Risen Reef trigger, and this is getting ridiculous. Finally, we are done, but that's okay. Like, we don't... They have a... I want to call it a stun counter. It's not a stun counter, technically, I don't think, but... Alright, let's see what you got here. I mean, you got 3 mana dorks, so surely they have got something in their hand they can play, but... I don't know. As long as we can get into, like, a Cyclonic Rift, but I don't even know if we were going to need that. Okay, so Great Henge. Great Henge does, you know... allow a little bit of storm action. I don't know if it's going to be able to match our storm action, but it still can. And then we can Leyline Binding the Henge. But we drop another Risen Reef here, and things are going to get pretty freaking nuts. Alright, let's keep Risen Reefing it up. More land. And yeah, I don't want to take too much time choosing the colors. I think it's going to be fine no matter what we choose, pretty much, so... I think we do want to take out the Great Henge though, with the Leyline Binding. So let's go ahead and just do, oh my god, there's our Cyclonic Rift. I am just now learning the power, the true power of Cyclonic Rift. So freaking good, man. Okay. I think, like I said, I've always heard like Cyclonic Rift. It's one of those cards you ever heard of, but now that I'm actually playing with it, this is like my first time playing with Cyclonic Rift. You guys were right. You guys were right on the forums, Twitter, whoever. You guys were right. This card is absolutely bonkers. It's like a one-sided, it's a one-sided just everything. That's all you need to know. But before we get into that, I'm going to go ahead and drop Voice of Resurgence for one more time before I go for Leyline Binding. And we're just going wide as possible. I mean, this is just we're having a lot of fun, though. So, all right, let's go ahead and just, I'm just not trying to pour it on, but I got to show you what the deck does, of course. I mean, come on. So another landfall. We don't have any more planes, but that's okay. Because Nissa's going to go ahead and be able to drop us for white. Omnath. We have both Omnath. That is 2 different Omnaths there. They've got Locus of Creation and Locus of the Roil. So I think we're probably fine to go for the Leyline Binding now. We've had our fun. Let's go ahead and take away the Great Henge just so they can't storm really. And we still have that. I'm not going to play the Cyclonic Rift. I want to wait till the Cyclonic Rift so we can just kind of bounce off everything. All right. All right, looking pretty good here. What you got for me, Brouhaha? Like I said, they have a few threats, but like our Voice of Resurgences alone are just going to be able to like wall off anything they have. I mean, Goldspan Dragon. Okay, so they can actually swing in for what, 8 here? If they had like a crazy pump spell, I mean, I'm not super familiar with every single pump spell in Explorer, but I don't think they could like double the power of each creature. If they could actually sneak a win here. So they're gonna kill my Nissa, but I don't care. We already got all the card advantage in the world, and they actually do swing in with the Lovestruck Beast, which is kind of surprising because I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. And I think they're not really exactly tapped out, but they have the treasure. But we just do a triple block, and look at that, boom! This is gonna get so disgusting. 3 Voice of Resurgences with the Risen Reef. I don't know why they swung in on the ground there. Maybe up in the air makes sense, but this is crazy. Okay, I mean, we're just getting like everything. I mean, again, next turn we're gonna go for the Cyclonic Rift, but look how much fun this is. Look how much fun this is. All right, Risen Reef. I mean, I don't know how much how much the reef is going to rise, because this is getting wild. Yeah, I'm not even gonna play anything. I guess we could go for Leyline Binding. I guess, why not? Just in case they have a, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. We're just having fun here. All right, let's go ahead and finish them off. Let's see, we can actually drop both Omnaths, I believe. Another Lovestruck Beast, just for the road, why not? And here we go. We got all the land in the absolute world. Let's go ahead and drop. Like I said, our worlds are oyster here. We're going to finish the game here. They're tapped out. There's nothing they can do. I'm going to drop Omnath, Locus of Creation, and Omnath, Locus of the Roil. Come on. All right. Locus of Creation is going to go off, and Lotus. I mean, they're all. Everything's going off. Literally everything's going off. Another Cyclonic Rift. Let's go ahead and we could even drop. I'm just trying to like map up my. Cause we have a Fabled Passage. This is getting crazy. We'll go ahead and add all the mana in the world because that's the second thing from Omnath. We have these 3 8/8s elementals. Let's go ahead and hit them. The Cyclonic Rift. Let's just go ahead and bounce them all off. We could have done a little bit more, but let's drop the last Omnath just for funsies, and then we'll be done. And then we'll go ahead and finish off. Cause it is fun to kind of play around with it, but I think we've had our fun. Let's go ahead and just finish them off. They've been a good sport. They're letting us do it. So, target an elemental you control. God knows we got a lot of elementals. Let's go ahead and hit them. And like I said, look at this. How much damage are we actually even gonna do? We're not doing the maximum amount of damage, but we can go for a Fabled Passage. Yeah, let's just go ahead. Let's go ahead and just kill them off. Bang, 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 and we'll take them down to like I don't even know how much exactly it was, but -27, and then it's going to be GG's. Curtains, baby. Wormhole. How we doing here? Let's go ahead and keep this. Looking like a pretty good hand here. So, all right. It is a little on the slower side. We do have a little bit of disruption, so let's go ahead and set down our Temple Garden. Always got the Leyline Binding. The Leyline Binding, we can't get it down to 1, but it doesn't really matter. It usually does not matter. The Leyline Binding for 2, in a lot of cases, is usually just good enough. So let's go for the Thoughtseize. I would assume they get rid of Omnath, but I don't know. We'll see what they take care of. If they take care of Multani, the Multani can just come back, so I'm not really worried about that. They do take the Omnath, but that's okay. Getting into a lot of our removal, but that's the first thing I noticed about Explorer. Like Explorer and Historic versus Standard Alchemy, it is a lot more important to have removal. Like, it's obviously still important to have removal in every single deck, pretty much across all formats, but very, very important to have it in Explorer. Because there's just too many, just like Grease Fang, there's too many like turn 3 kills. You pretty much have to have it. So that's why I have Leyline Binding, got Fateful Absence, and Cyclonic Rift. I think those are all 3 of the like removal cards I have. So I'm just kind of debating, do I want to use Fateful Absence on the Rafine? I think we do. Let's go ahead and just keep tempo up. I know that because we do have 2 other forms of removal, I think it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and drop the Forest down. If we drop Fabled Passage, it comes in untapped, so we can kind of just keep up the Leyline Binding for 3. Assuming this is like Grease Fang. Assuming. Some Grease Fang is Abzan, some of it's Esper, so not really the greatest. Okay, we got more Leyline Binding, so like we don't even like really. It seems like we're playing like Vine or Beanstalk control rather than actual like landfall. But we can go in for Leyline Binding. Maybe I don't know what I want to do yet. The Rafine itself is like not that menacing. I guess we're gonna have to do the Fabled Passage. I think just not sitting too comfortable here. Of course, we're going to go for the Mountain just to go ahead and make the Leyline Binding cost 2. And I think we're going to go ahead and do this. In case they have like a make disappear, we can pay it now, but you know, it wouldn't matter. I guess we could still take the investigation token. Should have probably done this last turn just because if we were going to do this, but I guess I kind of got gold feet, but all right, at least no connive ability if they got that. Again, we still, even if they do have the Grease Fang, we still have removal for it, but I think at this point we're looking so like slower into the deeper of the game that we're probably looking for a Cyclonic Rift, a big old Cyclonic Rift. So Kaito, hello Kaito. You're gonna go ahead and so it's actually interesting. They draw a card instead of make the token, which is a little bit strange. But we got our Risen Reef. Risen Reef is going to just be like an advantage hog. Yep, let's go ahead and take that. Get a nice little ramp action going. Looks good to me. Man, I remember when Risen Reef was in Standard. I couldn't even believe that it was like an uncommon. And this card could have easily been a rare. Easily. I think it could have been a mythic. I'm not joking you. Collector's Vault, and they get the Rare Fiend back, but I'm not too threatened yet, and I'm a little confused why Kaito is just drawing and discarding. I guess they really just want to, like, turbo. They just really want to turbo, get into, like, their Greasefang, and at this point, you know, I'm not too threatened. There's our Omnath. Okay, we don't, unfortunately, have a land unless Risen Reef grabs this land. Come on, baby. Oh, just a Nissa and a Lotus Cobra. So, actually, pretty bad draws there, but, hey, card advantage is card advantage. 2 draws, we'll take it. They're still keen on the draw, though. They're not really interested in making that ninja token, so... Okay, there they go. There is the Sky Sovereign. Not a Parhelion, but still is a Greasefang target, so... Beseech the Mirror. Okay, here we go. I'm sure, I would think they're going to take the Greasefang now, right? Alright, there's the Greasefang. They have Beseech Greasefang. Greasefang is here. Alright, Greasefang, what you got for me? The Sky Sovereign, I believe, is better than, I believe it's better than Parhelion. Parhelion's, like, a lot more nerve-wracking, right? Because it makes the 4/4s. Alright, crew, and they're gonna kill my Omnath. I don't, it's not great, but, like, you know. It's gonna come down to, it's pretty much gonna come down to, can we get the Cyclonic Rift? Because, the big boy Rift. Take your Connive. We're still down to what? 10. 10's not that bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. I've been in worse spots, so put you back into your hand. That's nice. And another Omnath. Okay, we're gonna have to pretty much do this again, though. Oh god, what? This is so awkward. I really wish I had a land. We can drop the Omnath and just pray to be able to get something else, or we can drop Lotus Cobra and Nissa, because that's a little bit more mana efficient, and then we can have two landfalls. This turn is going to be a little bit awkward no matter what we do. No matter what we do. If I drop this Omnath, that's pretty much it. We have to pretty much pray for a land. Oh man, this is kind of hard. If we go for Omnath, we're pretty much just begging for a land. It's kind of like just like risking it. So it's pretty much like a risk reward. Like, how do we want to play this? Can they go for lethal next turn? I think they probably, hold on. Connive makes 6, makes that. They can discard. I think we're just gonna have to like go for like the best thing we can. So, yeah, let's go for Leyline Binding. Just get rid of the Greasefang. Let's be like the safest we can be, and then we'll just drop the Nissa. That was a long-winded thought process. Probably shouldn't have been that hard, but all right.
I feel bad.
Yeah, so sorry for that. I tried to be a little bit quicker. Again, my standard and alchemy videos are a little more snappy. My Explorer, I gotta kind of think about everything a little bit more. It's not so familiar with the cards, but we're getting there. We're getting there, and I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable in the Explorer space. Explorer, I guess you could say. All right, Raffine, what you got? Connive. I'm sure you're gonna put this thing into the graveyard. As long as you don't have another, as long as you don't have a frickin' Greasefang. So we could have kept up the Cyclonic Rift, but that's not going to cut it. We need the best we can do here. So I think if we go for Omnath, still drawing a card, discarding a card.
I know.
Not interested. They definitely want to discard, which makes sense with the Kaito, but alrighty. Just gonna fix my mic up here a little bit. There we go. All right, Collector's Vault. Still no sign of Greasefang. That greasy little rat mouse thing. Alright, Parhelion 2. Greasefang. That's the problem with this, like, the Greasefang decks, though. It pretty much is like Greasefang or bust, so... What was that? Was that Fatal Push? Wait, Risen Reef is 3. Yeah, what's going on here? Wait, what? What'd you just do that for? Was there a reason, or was that just a big oopsie? Okay, either way, they're gonna go ahead and drop the end on the Risen Reef, which isn't that bad. I mean, we're still looking okay. 7 life, and they're kind of only having 1 card in their hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is not that bad. The end is not that bad. A Lotus Cobra, so still no land. My goodness. Okay. Drop the Omnath and then just kind of pray that we get a land. We do get a draw with the Omnath, so. Oof. I think we're gonna have to do it at some point. Like we're gonna have to get lucky. What's the alternative? Drop a Lotus Cobra, and then hold up Rift? That doesn't seem that good. Oh, I hate the rope. I hate the rope. Yeah, here we go. Let's go. Let's drop the Omnath. Let's drop the Omnath. We do get to draw a card. Oh, thank goodness. We get a Fabled Passage, which is better than just like your just anything ordinary. So, thank goodness. Let's drop it. We got the Omnath going here, baby, and we're gonna be able to do some serious damage with the Fabled Passage now. That was a Destiny draw. Oh my goodness. If you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day, that was a Destiny draw. Okay. So Omnath, I think we can, yeah, let's go ahead and bust it. We're gonna get the second trigger from both Nissa and Omnath. Bang. Just trying to think of how I want to play this out. All the mana in the world, I think. Is this gonna be Cyclonic Rift time? I think it is, because if we go for the Cobra, would we not have had enough? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, Cyclonic Rift. Obviously, let's go and overload the Cyclonic. This card is quickly becoming my favorite thing. And looking good. Looking gosh darn good now. They still can, I guess they still could have a Grease Fang, obviously, but at least we slow down the Collector's Vault nonsense. Kaito, so they obviously don't have a Grease Fang. That is wonderful. But even if they did, they couldn't go for lethal this way because our Omnath gained our life.
I'll be taking that now.
And now we're looking okay, because once we drop Multani, I mean, that's pretty much, I don't want to say lights out, but I mean, Multani's like the finishing stamp on this deck. All right, 13 to 11. We do have a Leyline Binding. Leyline Binding is pretty freaking sweet, just in case we can flash that into any sort of threat. So I'm actually thinking about probably not going for Multani now. I think because we want to keep up this Leyline Binding. Unfortunately, no land. No landfall shenanigans. I think the move here, the problem with the Lotus, like, we can't drop the Voice of Resurgence is the problem because we don't have enough white, but down to 6 they go. Yeah, I would love to be able to drop this Leyline Binding. I guess, let's just go ahead. I was like tempted to drop the Lotus Cobra, but I'm not going to. But I'll just hold the Leyline Binding. Raphine's Informant, okay. What you got? What you got? Do you have the Grease Fang? There's the Grease Fang. So thank goodness we do have the Leyline Binding. That is going to be just wonderful. All right. Yep. Absolutely a no-brainer. No counter spells. We know what they have in their hand, and this is looking pretty good. Down to 6 you go. 6 to 11. Looking good. They're going to drop their Raphine. And let's see how we can finish. There they go. They finally make a body. They finally got wise and made a body with the Kaito instead of just drawing and discarding. So, see how we want to play this. Can't go for any double landfall with Omnath, unfortunately, but I think if we just drop the Multani's Avatar, we can probably be okay. I think I am going to be a little bit more aggressive here. So if we drop Lotus Cobra, now we drop this, we get 4 landfalls? 4 landfall triggers. Bang, bang. And it doesn't particularly matter, I suppose, just because we only have 2 cards. We're going to drop the Multani Avatar. Oh, look at that. I missed. I do like the Explorer cards because they actually have animations that come out. Remember when Wizards used to do that? Crazy times, I know. All right, I'm going to actually swing in here. We have the 9/9. We have Multani as a 9/9 Trampler. I think I'm gonna swing in. At this point, the Lotus Cobra is not like doing too much, so I think we'll swing in here. We got your little Grease Fangs trapped in our Leyline Bindings, looking good there. See, even if they do pick off the Lotus Cobra, I don't really care. The Lotus Cobra is just, yeah, let's just be aggressive. I don't see any reason not to be. So even if the Omnath dies, Nissa bounces, that's fine. Yeah, that's a true blue trade. Take him down to 4, and we are sitting here with Multani, a 9/9 reach trample. All right, we're gonna be able to trample over everything. And even if they kill Multani, even if they kill it, we can just bring it back, and then you get the landfall from it. Unless they exile it, of course. So I think this is like pretty much gonna do it, right? Beseech the mirror. What can they beseech though? I think if they grab Greasefang, I don't know if Greasefang saves them though. I mean, we have reach and trample, so we can block them and then attack on the back end. So I don't think Greasefang even saves them, honestly. What are they grabbing here? They made a decision. Oh, Supreme Verdict. They're going to wipe the board. All right, well, Voice of Resurgence gives us a 1/1, which can get bigger. And then we can drop Multani. So, like, I don't even think that's that big of a deal. Yeah, we're looking good. They are completely... They have nothing. They have no more resources. Let's go. Fateful Absence doesn't really matter. Multani. Wow, look at this. Yavimaya's Avatar coming back from the grave. Let's go. And we have just enough. Bounce these up, and because we didn't play a land, we'll go ahead and play our forest. Let's go ahead and no, let's drop Multani first, so that we get a 2/2, and then we put them on a bigger clock. Again, I miss those. I miss those animations. I really do. Down to 2, and they can use the Collector's Vault, but they're pretty much in top deck mode. I mean, it's pretty much do or die here. We have an 8/8. Again, this has trample too, so they cannot block the Multani very effectively. And this is it. Cyclonic Rift and a Fateful Absence. 9/9/2/2. And that's it. Let's go. Lamik, how we doing here? All right, let's go ahead and keep this. A lot of removal. None of our landfall stuff. But yeah, we're getting Thaw Seized anyway. We don't got to worry about it. So I think they would take the... I don't know. Actually, I don't know. You can take the Leyline Binding or the Rift. I don't think most people are not that threatened by the Fateful Absence. So... that's actually a swamp too, so probably going to go against, I would assume, mono black discard if that's not like a dual land. So another Leyline Binding. Well, let's go ahead and get our Triome down. Might as well get the Leyline Binding nice and cheap as possible. Ooh, a Lotus Cobra. Okay, thankfully we got actually a threat to play of some sort, so no removal either. No removal. Our little Cobra survives. Gotta love it. All right. Oh, never mind. I spoke a little bit too soon, so no landfall shenanigans yet, but we'll get into them. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and play this down. No reason to go for the Fabled Passage. So, Nighthawk Scavenger. Okay, we'll let it go. I think we'll just go ahead and Leyline Binding it. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do it. Yeah, you play a threat, we remove threat. It's simple. Alright, and Voice of Resurgence. I kind of like that. I'm liking the Voice of Resurgence. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop this, and we can still go for a Fateful Absence or a Leyline Binding. And, again, it doesn't really matter that Leyline Binding is only a 2... Oh, and they hit us with a nice. Oh, come on, man. Lamik, you're killing me, man. All right, so we get rid of all these things. We do get a little 1/1 back, which is nice about the Voice of Resurgence, but let's go ahead and hit him with a Fateful Absence this time. Just because I don't want to get hit with another. Okay, so more Leyline Binding, so if they do have another Invoke Despair, we are in trouble, but that nice. Oh, that just burns me up. All right. Thieves Guild Enforcer. We've got a Dire-Strain Rampage, which would be good if we got like an Omnath. The Dire-Strain Rampage is really good when we have, obviously we have that. But let's just go ahead and do our Leyline Binding on the Sheldred. I mean, if they have another Invoke Despair, I think we're just gonna have to eat it. So, okay, this is decent. Let's go for Nissa, and it does really suck that we're gonna have to probably let's swing in first. Let's just get our damage in. But what I don't really love here is the Fabled Passage we can't really use with Nissa until next turn. And then we're going to use the Dire-Strain Rampage. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, another one! Oh gosh, okay, another Invoke Despair. They're going to get back their Shelly. We do have one last Leyline Binding. But this isn't that big of a deal, though. Yet. Let's play down our third Leyline Binding. And then we can go for Dire-Strain Rampage and then get Nissa to give us a random Elemental. Okay, so now they're tapped out. Thankfully, they bust that Clue token open. Whew, okay, we're good. I'm going to go for the Fabled Passage here. Let's go for Fabled Passage, and I guess they are drawing, so let's go ahead and deny them that 2 life. What color do we really need? I don't think it really matters. We pretty much have all 4 of our colors here. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, and let's go for the Leyline Binding. on the Shelly to deny them their life gain. That's right, no life for you. All right, now we got the Dire-Strain Rampage. Now we can get a random elemental with our Nissa. That's pretty good. Okay, there. Finally end of their turn. I'm going to have to cut that out, but no problem. No problem. As long as we get the win. As long as we get the win, I don't care. So let's go for the Dire-Strain Rampage. I want to make sure that we have enough. So if we do all of this shenanigans, I want to make sure with the Dire-Strain Rampage that we have enough for like an Omnath if we do snag the Omnath with the Nissa. So we do get 2 landfalls this way, and yeah, we'll go ahead and do this, and with Nissa we should be able to complete the cycle, so I don't think it really matters, but a little bit low on the white sources here. We only have 1, so gotta be cognizant of that. Yep, only 1 of there. Just grab that, and we do get our Omnath. We get our Omnath. Let's make sure that we got all the colors. Drop the Omnath. Okay, pretty good. We do get to draw a card, and that's gonna pretty much do it for our turn. But there's still a little bit of hope. Okay. Ooh, this is not looking great. This is not looking phenomenal. A Thieves Guild Enforcer. Okay. A 3/2 Death Toucher for 1 is always really good. So I think we're gonna have to let this go. I can't justify blocking. Omnath does give us life every single landfall, so. Oh, Multani, let's go. Okay, that is good. That's definitely good. Let's go ahead and play it tapped. I don't think it matters. Even if we do die, we can just bring back the Multani. So this is actually really good. Yep, let's go ahead and it doesn't really matter. As long as we have 2 left over, which we will, even though we didn't even play the Temple Garden untapped. Drop Multani, baby. Let's go. Oh, and look at that beautiful, beautiful animation. And I think we're going to have to be a little aggressive here. I know they have Death Touch, but with Multani, like we're putting the pressure on them. If they get rid of Multani, again, we can bring back the Multani. So I don't know. Maybe that was a little too aggressive. We don't really have the landfall shenanigans, so like, I don't know. We only have 2 Dire-Strain Rampages in the deck, so we already used 1. I feel a little bit bad about burning our landfall, but I think at this point, Multani is our win condition. No attacks, that's great. We get a land here. It does not particularly matter. I guess let's go ahead and play it down. We do get a little bit more damage. We do reveal that, but we do get 1 more power on our Multani. Even if they block it, that's fine. That is absolutely fine. They actually don't. Okay, I mean, yeah, we could have brought it back either way, but okay. So this is pretty much just a race. I mean, if they don't have an answer from Multani, which we can bring back, and we just take it. Let's go. Sometimes it's that easy. Senator Senpai. What a name. All right. Let's go ahead. Yeah, I think we can keep this. We got a Triome in here. We'll be fine. All right, let's drop our little Triome. We got a Voice of Resurgence. This card is good, man. All right, Temple. Oh, Temples. I remember the Temples. Temple of Epiphany. The little scry action pretty good. We got our Omnath. Locus of the Roil. Well, of course we're running both Omnath. You got it. You know? I think there's... How many Omnaths are there? There's like 4 or 5 at this point, aren't there? We're running both the 4-drop Omnaths, I should say. There's like a 5-drop, a 7-drop. I actually did tinker with the 7 one as well. But we lose our Voice of Resurgence. That's fine. We do get a little replacement token. A little something for our troubles. And I think right now, I mean... If they're playing Izzet, they most likely aren't playing threats, so the Leyline Binding and the Absence aren't very good. So I think I'm going to actually just use the Dire-Strain Rampage to ramp us up. I think this is probably the best move. I know that we kind of typically like to use this when Omnath's out, but that's what's so nice about the Dire-Strain Rampage is that it has flashback. So even when we do play the Omnath next turn, we still have it for flashback. So let's go ahead and play this looking good. Swing in, 19 to 20. Looking all right, looking all right. All right, let's see what you got here for us. Prismari Command. Yeah, no big deal. I don't care. That's a 1/1 token. You think I care about a 1/1 token? Not a big deal. So let's drop Omnath first. And then we can drop the Mountain. Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah. Now's as good a time as any. So Omnath, Locus of the Roil. Let's go ahead and drop you down. I kind of do wish it was the other one right now because I would like to draw. I think drawing's a little more important than a +1/+1. This one's a little bit better late game. And there's another animation. You just don't see those anymore. We do get a 1/1 counter, which, I mean, it's not... I like it. It does kind of... there are certain burn spells that we do get around now. That's a 4 toughness instead of 3. Secrets of the Key. Okay. Okay. I mean, that's not that threatening at all, so that's pretty nice. So, we got the breeding pool here. Again, this Locus of this Omnath, I should say, is a lot better late game. So we're playing it early game is a little bit awkward, but like, I don't know. Obviously, we're cooking with it. So, okay, we could go for Dire-Strain Rampage as well, get more +1/+1s, but I kind of want to save it. Like at this point, you know, I don't know what they have up their sleeve. We do have, you know, 3 forms of removal, so I think we'll just kind of hold still. They have to deal with my Omnath to win, so. If they don't have any sort of threat, you know, we could always, if they try to, like, you know, kill our Omnath, we could just Fateful Absence it, just so that we can get a token draw from it. I mean, that is a little bit wacky. I would prefer not to, but Secrets of the Key, they're going to investigate twice now, because that's they played it later. But again, they're not really doing anything. Like, we're pretty soundly ahead. Voice of Resurgence. Yeah, I mean, let's drop it. We will get a Omnath bump from it. Yeah, we definitely should. I should have played this before I swung out. I don't know what I'm doing. Solve the equation. Let's just see what. Okay, well, like, what do they do here? Hold on. They're gonna use a volcanic spike. Because they don't have the mana to bust that big spell down. So, and they just give it up. Okay,